So the patch notes have in fact been released. The latest update for Fortnite Battle Royale, or just Fortnite in general, has in fact been released as well. And this new update, I do in fact got a few positive things to say, but I also want to say one other thing. I wouldn't really call it a negative thing or a positive thing. It's more of kind of like a neutral thing and, kind of an opinion-based thing. But let's just read over the patch notes. I got a few good things to say about them, so let's get right into it. So first off, we do have a new assault rifle. It is called the Tactical AR. As you can see here, it looks like it has some sort of like scope on it. I'm not entirely sure. It is going to be available in rare, epic, and legendary variants. It's going to be available from floor loot, chests, supply drops, as well as vending machines. It is a full auto weapon. It has a 30-round magazine. It deals 22, 23, and 24 base damage, 22 for the rare, 23 for the epic, and 24 for the legendary. It has a headshot multiplier of 1.75, meaning if you get a headshot with the rare variant, you will do about 38 to 39 damage. With the epic variant, you will do 40 damage, and with the legendary, you will do 42 damage. It states here, it says this weapon has a tight spread in close quarters, but is less effective at long range when compared to other ARs. They have also made some more changes here to the baller. It states on here, it says reduced baller health from 200 health to 150 health. I got something I want to say about this later on after we read all of the patch notes. They state here on the patch notes, though, they says the primary goal of the baller is to provide fun and exciting mobility. We feel that it still has too much defensive agency. This should change, or this change should reduce the effectiveness there while not impacting its strength. They have also nerfed the drum gun. Yes, they nerfed it. Oh my god, it's good that they finally nerfed it. Very, very soon nerf. This is kind of what the drum gun needed, considering the fact of how OP it is. They reduced the damage from 26 to 22, as well as 27 to 23, meaning that now the uncommon variant will do 22 and the rare variant will do 23. It even states here, it says, since it's unvaulting, the drum gun effectiveness has been slightly higher than we wanted. This change should reduce its combat effectiveness while still retaining its flavor. And last but not least, in terms of weapons and items, they decided to vault the compact SMG. It says, due to the recent addition of the drum gun and the brand new Tactical AR, we wanted to reduce the availability of high rate of fire weapons. And if you do in fact know, the drum gun and the SMG, the compact SMG or the P90, are very high rate of fire weapons, so I'm guessing that's kind of why, it even states here in the patch notes that that's the reason that they decided to vault the compact SMG or the P90. So I guess that's understandable. So next up we have the gameplay part of the patch notes. The first thing it states here is slipstream adjustments. It says slipstreams no longer block building. So if you try to build up to a slipstream, you shouldn't have that issue to where if you build up close enough too close to it that you can't build another platform or another ramp or whatever. You can't place any more mats. Obviously, if you have built up to a slipstream so far this season, you will kind of know what I'm talking about. They even state here in the patch notes, trying to build up to get into a slipstream should be an easy and intuitive experience. We noticed some cases where players would build up to the slipstream, but due to build restrictions, would take a leap of faith and not make the jump. This should make getting into a slipstream easier, and yes, I've in fact had that problem on several occasions. It says players flying in a slipstream will destroy player-built objects when they collide. Slipstreams are now disabled after Storm Phase 5. We've seen a number of cases where slipstreams caused issues during late game circles. Yes, I've actually seen some issues with late game circles in terms of slipstreams, primarily around getting pulled into the storm unexpectedly. Since the value of slipstream mobility is limited in those scenarios, we felt it's better to simply disable them. And last but not least, we have the Performance tab, which states here improvements made to level streaming performance on all platforms. This will reduce cases of buildings not loaded in. Physics optimizations to improve performance in conduits. So, just going back over the patch notes, The tactical assault rifle, it seems like a very good addition to the game. I ain't going to diss on it or anything because I have yet to actually hop into the game and actually use it. Going on to the baller, personally, if they're going to reduce baller health even more, they should really do it only in arena or competitive modes. They should really just kind of leave it alone with the way that it is in public matches. The drum gun adjustment, this is something that is definitely needed, because if you ain't got a drum gun, basically you're screwed at this point. It seems like there's no other weapon in the game right now that can actually compare to the drum gun. And then when they stated that they vaulted the compact SMG, I can understand where they're coming from. I personally am okay with that change. I don't really pick up the compact SMG and use it that much. Normally, I would just stick with the suppressed SMG, as I like that better, so I don't have no problem with them vaulting the compact SMG. The changes that they've made with slipstreams, yes, specifically the one where it blocks building. It should no longer block building. It should have never blocked building to begin with. That really kind of screws up the idea of building up to it, because there have been several occasions where I will build up to it, jump, try to get into it, and actually fall and take some fall damage. So thankfully they've done that. And performance wise, in terms of what they said here, improvements made to level streaming performance on all platforms, I don't really understand what that exactly means. Does it mean, to people who like stream on PS4 or Xbox One or whatever? I don't know. But anyways, it states this will reduce cases of buildings not loading again, so hopefully that fixes the issue specifically. I keep seeing it on console, which I don't think that this is necessarily the case with that, but it does in fact say this will reduce cases of buildings not loading in. If you have hopped in on a console lobby and like very early game, it seems like it mainly happens in the newer locations. If you drop into some place like Neil Tilted, Mega Mall, or whatever, some of the buildings will not load in, and it's very frustrating, and it can really cause problems early game. So good thing that they decided to do that performance wise. Hopefully that means that, hopefully, just reading off that performance tab, hopefully that fixes the buildings not loading incorrectly. I mean, just all across the board. It says here on streaming performance, but I don't necessarily understand exactly what streaming performance means. If it means people to stream, I don't necessarily know. Hopefully this just reading that off, it straight up just fixes all of the issues where buildings won't load in, especially into new places. That really seems to happen the most, is at the new locations that have been added into the game. So hopefully that fixes everything. Anyways, I do in fact think this is an okay patch. I would have really preferred if they would have just focused strictly on fixing bugs and glitches in this patch. I would have been totally okay with that, but they still decided to add in a new weapon, make a few small changes. But like I said, I would have been okay if they strictly done nothing but bugs and glitches in this patch. That's just my opinion. I ain't really trying to say that in a negative way or anything, but you can kind of take that as you will. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning into this video. If you guys did in fact enjoy this, please leave a like rating, share this with your friends, maybe possibly subscribe, hit the notification bell, and tell me what you guys think of all of this down in the comment section below. That's it. I do in fact hope you guys enjoyed. Please stay beautiful. I love you guys, and I will see you all on the next one.